Greetings YouTube, and merry meet Saunders. I am Civil Silver Phoenix, and you asked some questions of the goddess Diana. First off, Saunders, I do not know the mind of God, or goddess for that matter, nor do I claim to understand it. It, capital I, capital T. It is not my place, nor yours, or anyone else's, for that matter, to know, let alone understand such a thing. And to contemplate the mind of the divine for any great length of time is to go mad. After all, it is the great unknowable, the mystery of all time. And we little humans are not going to understand it, capital I, capital T, anytime soon. You can delude yourself and think you know, but ultimately you don't. Remember what the God of Israel said to Job in the book of Job. He told Job that a mere mortal cannot begin to contemplate all that the God of Israel had done from the dawn of time until well into the future, and that mortals were not meant to understand the mind of the divine. I cannot answer for the divine, and neither can you, period. All we really can do is answer for ourselves. Well, Saunders, you asked some questions of the goddess, and you know, I'm not the goddess, so I can't answer for her. I can just give you my opinions, my own answers to your questions. And my answers are as follows. Let's see. The first question was, you asked what happens to bad people when they die. Well, Saunders, in my faith, in the Wiccan path, it speaks of the threefold law of karma and of reincarnation. So, the way I see it, through the eyes of my faith, of course, or through my belief, of course, is that Hitler has racked up a huge karmatic debt. He did a lot of negativity in that lifetime. He created a lot of harm. So that's not good. That is not good at all. And he compounds the matter by, he took his own life. So his soul will be forced to go through its next immediate incarnation in a similar manner to the one he just terminated. This does not mean the world is going to experience Hitler round 2, ding ding, but it simply means that his soul in its next immediate incarnation will just have to go through the same physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional challenges and lessons that it had to go through before, as well as a few new ones. So his soul will have it a little tough. Will have a tough time. Now, what the results of those challenges and lessons will be in that next incarnation is completely up to that incarnation, as to whether he passes or fails, so to speak. His soul even learns the lessons that is offered to it. Okay, his soul will then continue through the cycles of rebirth until it has balanced out this karmatic debt. That's what my Wiccan faith would have me believe. But ultimately, Saunders, the simple, inescapable truth is neither of us really know with any measure of certainty what Hitler's fate, or anyone else's for that matter, ultimately is after they die. Whether Hitler's soul gets reincarnated into one troubled existence after another until he learns his lessons and balances out his karmatic debt, or whether his soul burns in a place of torment and torture for all eternity, we don't know. Those are just speculations. These are merely personal speculations. What we both know for certain is that he is dead, and the Third Reich is utterly destroyed, and let's be thankful for that at least. That evil has been stopped. It's no more. It's not running around. Yes, he sowed some seeds, so to speak, and now we've got neo-Nazis and skinheads running around and people being stupid and a bunch of idiots, but that's a whole nother matter. Okay, number 2, abortion. Does the goddess approve or disapprove of abortion? here's some food for thought, Saunders, on this question of yours. Ever heard of natural miscarriages? They happen rather frequently enough to outdo the sum total of forced or doctor-induced abortions. They happen for many reasons too. To name just a few, for example, say a married couple is having a hard time conceiving, and say their blood types are incompatible, like the husband's is A positive and the wife's is B positive. These two blood types are not going to mix. So therefore, any time they wind up having do conceiving, there's going to be a miscarriage. And then there's also the other example of, genetic disorders and genetic diseases which manifest in the prenatal stages. And this aborts the embryo/fetus and expels it from the womb. And these are natural occurrences, okay? There's nothing in these examples that speak of demonic causes or divine intervention or anything like that. It's all done naturally. It's all through natural causes. It has explanations. These natural abortions happen naturally. And if the divine is the one who controls all of nature, then what does that say about the divine stance on abortion? Well, it certainly doesn't say it's pro-life, so I'm going to leave that open for that there. Okay. Number 3, sex outside of marriage. Okay, well, since you directed this question to Diana, the answer would be simply, she doesn't have sex, period. If you had studied the Greco-Roman myths and pantheon, then you'd know that Diana is one of 3, count them 3, virgin goddesses. There is Vestia, Athena, and Diana. They don't have sex, period. No. They are not. They have never known a man, be it mortal or immortal. So, asking that question is pointless. It really is. That's akin to asking an uber-conservative Amish person if they know how to change a light bulb. Pointless. As far as sex goes and the Wiccan attitude towards it, if 2 adults are mutually into each other, and then what they do consensually behind closed doors is their business. Not mine, not yours, not anyone else's. Now, if you want to talk about rape, incest, sex with minors, adultery, etc., 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 then those all get very different answers. After all, your book treats those as different topics, and so do I. Okay, number 4. Number 4. Okay. Does Diana have a book detailing her moral codes of conduct for all humanity to live by? Well, if you believe, if you take some hearsay at value, then possibly. Apparently, by this hearsay, back in the 17th century, there was a woman running around Italy named Aradia. Allegedly, she was seen as the witch's messiah, and she claimed to be born of the Roman moon goddess Diana and the sun god Apollo. This woman was also said to have written down her message in a book, which she left to her disciples before ascending from the earthly plane. But this story, and this so-called witch gospel, wasn't talked about until around 100 to 200 years ago. So I have my doubts about the authenticity of that story. With that in mind, my view on this is no. Diana does not have a book detailing her will or how that will is to be carried out on the earthly plane. If there was such a book, it is more likely the work of man's hand than being that of the divine, simply because, once again, man will never understand the mind of the divine. It doesn't matter what deity claims what book. For the simple truth is that book will have been written by man's hand, not the divine's. And if your religion teaches you anything, Saunders, it's that when man has a hand in something, that something, more often than not, becomes corrupt. That's your religion, not mine.